Good evening. Happy Wednesday, my winners and goal getters. I am your host, Melissa T, the procrastination bully. Give me a second while I get my mic in. But yeah, good evening to you. Again, I'm your host, Melissa T, the procrastination bully. Welcome back to the Getting the Win show. And before I even get into the episode, real quick, just to let you know, this is being brought to you by the Spring Forward Writers Retreat. It's coming up March 14th through 16th this year, 2025. If you are a Gen X woman, you are a woman who has had something on your heart to say, something to share with the world, and you've wanted to write a book, but you haven't yet, or you have been in the process of it, you found yourself stuck, you're kind of confused. Wherever you are in the journey, you just want to get it done at this point. We're in a new year, and maybe it's one of your resolutions. I am here to help you get there. So the Spring Forward Writers Retreat is going to get you to a completed manuscript by the end of that weekend. So if this is a resolution for you, this is something you want to check off your list, go to that link, springforwardretreat.com, to sign up and get your seat. All right. We are not only letting you get the content done over the weekend, but we're also walking you through the process to get to that point. So if you're somebody that's starting from complete scratch, maybe you want to write a book, you've been thinking about it, but you weren't necessarily fully committed to it, but you want to commit this time, sign up. We will get you there. There will be some pre work that we do, and we will get you from just having an idea to author by the end of the weekend. All right. So, again, click that link below or follow that link below, springforwardretreat.com, to sign up and to learn more about the event. All right. Now, getting into today's episode, let's talk about quitting. We are at the start of a new year, of course, if you're catching this at the time that this is being released. But even if you're watching the replay later, this is being released at the start of a new year. We're a couple weeks into it, but for all intents and purposes, we're at the beginning of a new year. Let's talk about quitting. And here's how I came across it, y'all, because I was shocked. I was shocked. So I was on YouTube watching a video, and shout out to those of y'all who have YouTube Premium. I don't. So I still deal with the ads. However, I'm kind of glad for that because this particular ad was enlightening. There was an ad, I want to say either for a gym or some kind of active wear, some kind of sportswear, and they mentioned Quitter's Day. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but I did not know that was a thing. So I was 25 years old when I learned about Quitter's Day. If you're familiar with that, put that in the comments. Say, yeah, I know about Quitter's Day. I know about Quitter's Day. If this is news to you, the way that it was news to me, welcome to it. Okay. We're going to talk about it. We're going to dig into it because I want to make sure that as recovering procrastinators, we don't fall into the trap. And if you have, don't worry, you know I got you. Bring your pen and pad, bring your notes app in your phone or your tablet. I got you. Like, be ready to take notes today. I got the solution. All right. So, firstly, just want to give a bit of history with Quitter's Day. It's amazing that it is a thing. And I don't know about you when you hear it, but I felt some type of way when I heard that. Maybe because procrastination bully, right? But Quitter's Day is the second Friday in January. Now, for this year, as of this recording, it was January 10th. Now, the second Friday in January of every year, okay? That is what's known as Quitter's Day. This was started from a phenomena that folks that have fitness apps began to see. The fitness app folks, they study their analytics and they noticed a steep drop in membership and engagement by the second week of January, every single year, bar none. So they made a day of it. It is Quitter's Day. So here are some numbers to go with this, some stats to help you wrap your mind around this. Statista recently reported 60% of Americans usually create New Year's resolutions. However, according to Forbes, as recently as 2024, only 8% of people kept their goals longer than a month. Only 8% of the people Forbes surveyed kept their resolutions for longer than a month. So I've always heard of that running joke. We've heard the running joke like like folks that are gym regulars, they just have to wait a little bit till later in January, then they'll be able to get back to their machines, like after the crowd passes. It was a running joke, but the fact that there is a whole day for this based on numbers was kind of disturbing to me. So I wanted to make sure to cover this and arm you as in the same way that I've armed myself so that you're not part of the statistics going forward. Because hey, if that was you, like be honest, put it in the comments if you indeed fell off by week 2 of January for whatever your goals or resolutions were. If that was you, it's all right. Be honest. This is a safe space. It's a judgment-free zone. Shout out to Planet Fitness. I'm not trying to steal your steal your slogan. But yeah, with the procrastination bully, no judgment here. Remember, we're recovering procrastinators. Okay. So I feel you if you are someone that set a goal or set some resolutions for yourself. And by week 2 of January, you fell off of them. I got you. So now here are some causes for quitting. So let's go there first. I'm going to go over 5 causes and then I'm going to run through 10 solutions. Don't be overwhelmed by that number. I got you. Okay. Some of these you might already be doing. Some of the solutions you might already be doing. So just tack on the ones that you aren't. That way your resolutions will stick. Okay. So going into the causes of quitting. The first one is overconfidence. Author Emily Austin calls it false hope syndrome in a recent book. Here's what false hope syndrome is. We get excited in the anticipation of a new year, right? So we set our resolutions. In our excitement and motivation, we may find ourselves setting some unrealistic, lofty goals. They sound good in the moment, they feel good in the moment to say because human body, human psychology, like we're feeling all the feels. We're excited for that new start. So we set some things that we want to see, but they might be shooting a little too far. So that is what happens. And once the new year begins and you start taking the action, when we start taking the action and we're doing it consistently, we realize like, oh, this is a little bit more than I expected. I bit off a little bit more than I can chew. I ain't gonna be able to do this. And we become disillusioned. And in frustration, we abandon the resolution. We stop. We quit, right? So that's number 1, overconfidence, false hope syndrome. Number 2, the resolution is super vague. It's lofty and super vague. So, as an example, you set the resolution that you want a beach body by the summer. Decent. However, as you hear me say that, what's naturally the next question that comes to your mind? How? Right? Like, how are you going to get there? How are you going to get the beach body by summer? So if it's a dietary thing, maybe you're on a standard American diet and you want to change that. So cool. Which lifestyle do you want to switch to? Whole food, plant-based vegan, whole 30, paleo, keto, Mediterranean. Like you have to specify, right? Like you'll have to pick a how, right? So that's number 2, vague. Like the resolution is a bit too vague. Number 3, you're doing too much already. We just started a new year. If you're someone who has a flooded calendar already, it's all right. Raise your hand. Be honest and say that's me. My calendar is still full from last year. So respectfully and lovingly, let me tell you, you gotta fix that. We got to work together to fix that. It's a new year. Let's not carry overwhelm into the new year. Okay. So that's number 3, doing too much already. Because if your schedule is too full, then you can't necessarily commit the time necessary to fulfill that resolution, right? Okay, number 4, not setting up your environment to help you. So we'll get into that in the solutions part, okay? Number 5, not communicating. Perhaps you set your resolutions in a vacuum. You set your resolutions to yourself. You didn't share it with anybody, it's just you. All right. I'll get into that as well. There's a danger to not communicating what your resolutions are or what your goals are. And I get it. You want to protect your goals, you want to stay safe. There are plenty of motivational videos out on YouTube about staying silent and working hard, right? Work hard in the darkness, work hard in the silence, and then come out and just show everybody your greatness. However, if you're someone who's a recovering procrastinator, that particular formula may not serve you. Just speaking from experience, perhaps your experience is different, but as a recovering procrastinator, one thing I know about human nature, no matter gender, where you're from, your culture, whatever, humans love the path of least resistance. So if you set a goal or a change in your life that is new and you encounter some resistance, the fact that you didn't communicate the resolution, you created a back door for yourself secretly. That's what we call self sabotage. Okay. Because when you encounter the resistance, you're now going to be tempted to take that back door. Like, oh, well, no one else knows I did this anyway, so I can just stop. That's an easy way to quit, ain't it? Easy way to quit. So before I get into the solutions, I want to share a quote that I recently learned. Shout out to the UOU Mastermind for this. My coach, L. David Harris, you guys have seen him on the show a couple of times if you've been rocking with the show for a while. He shared a Thomas Edison quote that was, it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to take down the banner just so you can see the shirt because it's in context with the quote. But Thomas Edison said, vision without execution is hallucination. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Vision without execution is hallucination. Hence the shirt, execute. Okay? Like, execute. So now let's get into the solutions. If you were one of those people that honestly raise your hand, like, yeah, we 2 weeks in and I did quit. Like, I did end up falling off the wagon. Like, it's true, Melissa. I totally fell off. I got you. It's all good. Again, these are 10 and fill in the ones you're not already doing and do them together so they stick because this is how you're going to achieve those resolutions or those goals. Full transparency to y'all, I am not a resolution setter. I'm someone that I usually plan out whatever it is I want to do. So if it's something where, for example, writing a book, which I did, like that was something I strategized. That's coming up a bit later, but I planned out the exact steps. I planned out the how for that. So for what you're doing, like getting into the how is going to be very important. So number one, solution number one in terms of quitting the quitting on yourself, right? You hear me talk about this every episode. Accountability and community. Accountability and community. If you need a community, DM me on Instagram. Follow me there at Getting the Win Show and DM me, and I'll introduce you into my community. If this is the starting point, you're not part of any community, start with mine. Like join us. But accountability and community. Remove the back door. Get rid of the back door. That way you can stay focused on the goal, stay focused on your resolution, whatever it may be. Okay? Stay focused on that. Have the light, be around the like-minded people that can push you forward, that can even sharpen your resolution. They might shed some light on the resolution that you set for yourself because maybe you made it from an emotional place and maybe you weren't looking too far ahead. There's something you did not foresee. Being in a community, they might be like, oh, wait. Like, did you consider this? And you might be like, oh, wait, no, I did not. So that is the power of being in community and having accountability because then folks can ask you, okay, you said you wanted to do this. How's it going? Okay. And just some examples from my life. You guys have heard me talk about Unique, one of my accountability partners, and you've seen me interview her here on the show. To this day, it's been over a year now, and we're still talking every single night of the work week. We have our accountability call. You guys, if you tuned in to the anniversary episode, you heard from Barbara, who is one of my coaching clients. Accountability. At the end of the year last year, she saw the huge strides she was able to make in her work life and in her spiritual life as a result of this, the accountability. We talk every single week. Barbara and I talk every single week. Unique and I talk 5 nights a week. And recently, in January of 2025, I can share with you, there was a gentleman that I now meet with. He's also been on the show, Chris Nunez, author Chris Nunez. He was a client of mine. I worked on his book, Accountability. We now have an accountability call, and it's been helping. We met up for lunch just to catch up, see how each other's doing, find out how our families are, all the things. And he mentioned the fact that he's been wanting to get back on his laptop to get to work on his next book. So I was like, right? Like, what's going on? Like, what's stopping you? What's holding you up? And accountability. That's what it was. So he and I agreed right there during our lunch meeting, like, let's get on a call. I said, okay, check your calendar. Like, let's do this. And we now have a daily accountability call, and he is now using that call as the jumping off point to work on the book. He took down the laptop. And so now, after our call, as soon as we hang up, he writes. So every single night, he will write. Accountability. It doesn't have to be deep. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could be something as simple as a call. It can be daily. It can be weekly, whatever works best for you. But make sure you align yourself in a community, or if you're someone that is a bit more guarded, you don't really trust people, maybe you've been hurt by people, pick one person, just one person that you can trust. I'd like to believe you have one person in your life that you can trust. Okay. So accountability and community, that's number one. Number two, make the goals small and specific. Make your resolutions small and specific. So back to the beach body example. So say you want a beach body by summer. Okay. For one, that's 6 months out from the beginning of the year. There's some steps in between there, right? So the first one I mentioned is the diet. Which one are you choosing, right? In that example. The next thing, though, is going to be the movement. What's your exercise regimen going to look like? Are you someone who already exercises and maybe you want to switch your mode of exercise? Is it that you've been doing cardio and you're not quite satisfied with the results and you want to switch to body weight exercises? Is it a situation where you choose to switch to HIIT, high intensity interval training? Is it a situation where you choose to enroll in martial arts classes, maybe capoeira or something like that? Like picking your how in terms of the fitness. And then making the goal small and specific. Here's what I mean by that part. Instead of just saying beach body by summer, you can say, I want to lose 3 pounds by the end of the first month. That's very doable. That's very realistic. And I promise you, if you're switching your diet and getting into more intense fitness, you'll drop more than 3 by the end of your first month. That is for certain. That's for certain. But make the goal small and specific. Some might set a goal of losing 10 pounds by the end of 30 days, but each person's body is different. So that's why I said make the goal small and specific. Make sure they're attainable, because when the goal is small, not only does it makes it more attainable, but it's less work in your mind. It feels less overwhelming. Take it from somebody that is more of an emotional person and is easily overwhelmed. When you make the goals small and specific, there's less overwhelm. All right. Number 3, prioritize. This is important if you're someone like me that's multi-hyphenate, you're multi-passionate. Maybe you have multiple different things you want to accomplish in a month or over the course of a year. To quote Oprah, you can have it all, just not all at once. Melissa T adds, not so soon, not very quickly. You can have it all, just not all at once, not very quickly. Okay? So, I'll share with you my story personally. So, I'm someone that's super creative. I love writing. I want to get into songwriting. I want to learn to draw. That has been a desire of mine for over a decade. So y'all hold me to that if you feel like holding me accountable to something. I've wanted to draw for over a decade. And I have rudimentary drawing skills. Like my sketches would look warped, like Roblox level warped. You know what I mean? It's pretty bad. So to be specific, I want to draw photorealistically. That is my goal. To be able to do like fan art. You know what I mean? If you're somebody that's, an anime or comics nerd and you go to these comic conventions and you see all these artists that do fantastic fan art, that I want to be in that number. So that's always been a goal of mine. So I want to draw, I want to be able to paint, I want to be able to write songs. Definitely want to get back into writing screenplays and scripts, like play scripts, stage play scripts. These are all goals I have, but I'm self aware enough to know ain't none of that happening all at once. That's a lot. Those are multiple different skill sets to either learn or refine. Can't do all of that all at once. We have to stagger them, right? So if you're someone that is multi hyphenate, learn to prioritize them. And as my coach, E.T. the hip hop preacher says, if you got multiple passions, especially if you're talking about generating revenue, pick the one that's going to make you the money the fastest. Pick the one that's going to get you to that bag the fastest. That is how he helps us differentiate. Like, okay, you have all these passions, you have all these skills, great. Pick the one, focus on the one that's going to get you to the bag the fastest. Okay? So prioritize your resolutions. Sometimes that's what happens with that false hope syndrome. We're getting close to a new year and we run the gamut of what we want to see because it's a brain dump, right? It's a heart dump. We want to make known to ourselves and perhaps to others what we want to see in the next year. I'm getting rid of this. I'm going to stop doing that. I want to do this, right? Prioritize them. Prioritize them. Stagger them. Okay. Here's the next one. Focus on habits, not destinations. So to go back to the weight loss thing, the beach body by summer example, if that's your goal, don't get so hung up on the number on the scale. It's important. It's a form of accountability. It's a way to track your progress. But don't be disillusioned or disappointed if the number is not where you want it to be. The goal of having that resolution to get that beach body by summer is to develop the discipline of fitness, develop the discipline of consistently moving your body, develop the discipline of consistently eating clean. Okay. It's the habit that you want to develop because when you become the right person, success is inevitable, no matter what your goal is. So when you develop the habit of discipline and consistency, getting to where you want to go is inevitable. You're going to get there. You will have that beach body. So focus on the habits, not the destination. One example we hear a lot on the Secret to Success podcast with that, CJ will talk a lot about when he first started working with ET the hip hop preacher. It was him and Carl, like it was the three of them in that office at Michigan State University together. And CJ at the time was focused on the destination. There were certain goals they had to get ET booked in schools or whatnot. And he would get kind of frustrated if he didn't get that booking goal. And ET would remind him, like, what did we say we were going to do? You set the goal of sending out X amount of emails. You did that. Like, you're not responsible for the result. You're responsible to keep the commitment you made. You sent out all the emails. Bet. Celebrate that. So focus on the habits, not the destinations. Okay. Whatever those resolutions are that you're setting, whatever the goals are that you're setting, focus on the habits that you're building that will strengthen your character. Not so much the number on the scale, not so much the full destination. Because here's the thing, let's not forget God is still involved in all of this. And he can very easily detour you if he sees something better than what you're going for. In my last episode, I talked about keeping your hands open to not only give, but be prepared for God to take what is in your hand out and put something in it that's even better than you imagined. Okay. So focus on habits, focus on developing your character. I mentioned back in season 1 that the purpose of this series is that it is a journey, and it has been. And at the start of the journey, I focused on mindset. Where at the start of a new year, I'm back on mindset. The end of the year, I wrapped up with goal setting, like getting your mind prepared for the new year, right? That part's important. Now that we're in the new year, we have to focus on becoming the right person and refining who we already are to become even better. So focus on habits, not destinations. The next one, give the goal a powerful why. So to go back to the beach body example, decent decent why behind that. You want to look good naked. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be pleased with who you see in the mirror. You want to look great naked. You want to look great in a bathing suit. You want to look great in swim trunks if you're a guy. You know what I'm saying? You want to go to the gym looking dope. Cool. That's rooted in yourself. You want to be proud of the body that you're in. No problem. However, if we want to take this to the next level and say, I want a beach body by summer because I want to be strong enough to chase after my kids on the beach. Or I want a beach body by summer because my marriage, I want to improve my marriage. I want to increase my intimacy with my spouse, and I need stamina for that. Can we be real? We're adults. It's all good. You need stamina, right? When you tie it to a powerful why in terms of relationships, connecting it to people you love, it adds an extra bit of fuel to it. You might say, I want a beach body by summer because I have a network of people that I love and I want to be as mentally sharp as possible and I want to be as strong as possible to spend as much time with them as possible. I want my relationships to last for as long as they possibly can. And to do that, I need to be at optimal health. When you do it like that and you attach a powerful why like that, it adds a lot more fuel to your efforts. At that point, you want to do it. Like, you really, really want to do it. So give the goal a powerful why. Okay. The next solution, set up your environment accordingly. You guys have heard me talk about this in a previous episode if you've watched. But if you're someone who is an entrepreneur, whatever your space is, whether that's a home office, an office, um, if you're working a 9 to 5, whatever your workspace is, like, set that up accordingly. Set that up to make it easier for you to accomplish your goal. If it's a home thing and fitness is the resolution, I've mentioned before, if you're somebody that prefers working out in the morning, go to sleep in your workout clothes. That way you're not having to get up and pick anything out. Especially at the start of the year, if you're in a state that has 4 seasons, you cold right now. As you're watching this video, you cold right now. So going to sleep in your workout clothes in those layers makes it a lot easier to just jump out of bed, jump in your shoes and get out, right? It facilitates you getting to your goal that much faster. It helps you execute that much more quickly. If your resolution is to start writing your book, set a time in your calendar, put a block in your calendar. And then whatever it is you're choosing to write with, whatever your manner of content creation is, whether that's the laptop, maybe you're super old school and you prefer to handwrite, set out your journal or your notebook with your pen or pencil, set it out where you can see it, open your laptop where you can see it, like open the Word document around the time that you're going to write. Or if you're somebody that talks your book, which is the cheat code, y'all, if you're someone that's going to talk your book, put the voice recorder app in a place on your phone that's like put it on the first page of your home screen. Because most phones have a home screen that can scroll, right? Put it on the front page of your home screen so you can see it and have that reminder like, oh, I'm gonna have to record today. When you set your calendar reminder, make it as crystal clear and plain as possible. Audio recording time or talk my book. Whatever is necessary, set up your environment accordingly to make the goal easier to attain. Reduce the resistance, right? Reduce the resistance. If you're someone that loves the sound of nature, but maybe you work in a place that is nowhere near nature, you're in an office or something, if your environment allows it, not every office environment allows it, but if your environment allows it, find a soundtrack on YouTube that's nature noises and set that up. Like play that in your background. Even if you're somebody that may be susceptible to getting distracted if you hear music, no problem. There are tracks with just nature noises, with no music playing on the background in the background. So if that's all you need, by all means play that. Set that up. That way you can work fully focused in your area of Zen, right? If you're someone that likes your coffee or your tea, get that, set up your work environment and have that at hand. And that way you can do whatever it is you need to do, whether that's writing the book, working your 9 to 5, whatever that is. Set your environment accordingly. In the previous episode, I also talked about sleep. Setting the environment includes that as well. I mentioned the fact that having the room as dark or as dim as possible, if you're someone that has to have some kind of light, setting the room as dim as possible can facilitate sleep. That way you can get better quality sleep so you can wake up and be more refreshed when you wake up so you can attack the goals better. Okay. So set up your environment accordingly. The next solution, have backup plans ready. This is where we trip up. And I say we, because I have been guilty of this. Have backup plans ready. Have backup plans ready. Okay. Because life is gonna life. Can we be honest? Life is gonna life. You're gonna come up on appointments that you weren't expecting. You're gonna come up with, you know, maybe some health challenges that are unforeseen, either for yourself or for someone you love. Unfortunately, car accidents happen. Unfortunately, traffic delays happen. Unfortunately, things may shift at the 9 to 5 if you work a 9 to 5. Your priorities in your business might shift. Have backup plans ready. So with that Beachbody example, if you had set the goal for working out in the morning, and for whatever reason, that's not possible that morning, either you overslept or 9 to 5 called and you got to come in sooner, or maybe there's a fire in your business. Maybe you're an entrepreneur and there's a fire in your business. You had to put it out as soon as possible. If that's the case, you have to plan for that. It's important to have a backup plan ready. So the backup plan might be carving out a block in your lunch block, shortening the eating part, and using the rest of the lunch break to move your body, to go for a walk, something, to work out at home, like put on a YouTube video and do some movement at home. It's still movement. It's still exercise for your body. You're still raising your heart rate. So that way you still keep the commitment and you're fine. You're not having to kick yourself. You're not having to feel like you failed because you didn't work out first thing in the morning. You still kept your commitment. Okay. Next one, track your progress. Track your progress. So going back to what I talked about with the number on the scale, track your progress, take pictures. If the fitness thing is the goal, take periodic pictures of your body to see how your composition is changing. Take pictures of the scale or log it, write it in your journal, whatever the case may be. If you're doing it in a community with people that you're accountable to, share what the number is. Okay. But yeah, track your progress. Whatever your goal is, whatever your resolution is, make sure you're tracking it. Number 9, communicate. Set boundaries. Okay. I'll share a personal story in my life. And it's quite liberating for me, to be honest. I had to have an honest conversation with someone who I previously worked with. And we used to be on the phone constantly for long periods of time, about 2 years ago, up to 2 years ago. Recently, I had to have the conversation because I'm ground screw. I'm someone that is multi-skilled, multifaceted. I learn things very quickly. I'm a great resource. And I say that without ego. Like that is how I was wired by God. I am wired to be a number 2. I'm a great resource. And as such, despite the fact that I am no longer closely associated with this person in terms of working with them on a frequent basis, they were still relying on me as a resource. And I had to set clear boundaries. I respectfully had to share with them, listen, we're good friends. I love to talk with you. I love to laugh and be stupid with you. However, the calling me with any tasks, that stops. I'm no longer a resource. Like you have a huge network of people that you can call upon to answer these questions, get them to do it. Or if you need to consult with YouTube University, use YouTube University. The task part is done. Fortunately, the person I was talking to is a pilot, so they understood and could receive that direct talk. Set clear boundaries for whatever your resolution is. In my case, that was a huge time commitment. Those calls that I used to have with a person, huge chunks of my time would be consumed with that. I had to draw the line because there are certain important things that I need to get done in 2025, and I need that time to do them. Set clear boundaries for whatever your resolution is. Communicate. It's dangerous to set your goals in a vacuum. If people don't know what you're doing, they can't help. And if they encroach, you can't be mad at them because they don't know what you're after. They don't know what your boundaries are. Okay, so communicate, set boundaries. And then lastly, be kind to yourself in this process. I've shared this in previous videos as well. Be kind to yourself. There is always a transition. You've been doing things a certain way for X amount of years, or even as little as 1 year, from the previous year into this year. You've been doing things a certain way. Your brain is wired to create deep grooves in terms of our neural pathways. We create highways based on our habits. So to break a habit, there's gonna be a transition. Your body and your mind are experiencing a disruption. Be kind to yourself in the course of the disruption until those new neural pathways form, until the new habit sticks. You're gonna always be pulled back to what you used to do. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't self-kick. Trust me, you're listening to someone that used to do that a lot. As of 2023, I had stopped doing that. Don't self-kick. Okay? Because here's the thing, self-kicking won't help you reach your goals any faster. It just won't. The self-kicking, the self-loathing, the frustration, that's not going to help you get to your goals any faster. Being honest with yourself, sure. But now what? You know, if you fall off the wagon one day, now what? What do? You get up, you dust yourself off, and you execute. Okay. Remind yourself of the things you need to do for that particular goal or resolution and execute. Okay. So if you're somebody that quit by quitter's day, that middle of January timeframe, these are the ways that you get back on the wagon. These are the ways that you can make your resolutions or your goals stick for the year. All right. Quit quitting on yourself. It's a brand new year. This is the time for you to really, really hashtag get on that. Okay. Now, before I sign off, I do want to share one interesting hot take on the quitting. Shout out to Tanya Lee on Instagram. She actually posted on Quitter's Day, but she said happy Quitter's Day, which was interesting. That was an interesting take. But here's what she was saying. And this is the one exception. This is the one way that Quitter's Day is a positive. She said, happy Quitter's Day for quitting the things that no longer serve you. Amen. I couldn't argue with that. So if that's your situation, if there's some things that you drug into this year from last year that you know no longer serve you, by all means, use this time now to drop them. Use this time now to drop those things. And again, remember we were talking about habits, right? You've created those habits, they no longer serve you. It's going to be hard to just drop and not do anymore, right? This is why accountability and community are so important. If you need accountability and a community, again, follow me on at Getting the Win Show on Instagram, at Getting the Win Show. Follow me first and then DM me. Just DM me with the word community and I will get you into mine. Whatever accountability you need, let's get on that. Let's hashtag get on that. So in closing, I want to remind you that you are a hashtag luxury item. Okay. That hasn't changed and never will. Jesus didn't quit on you. He died for you. Okay. Jesus didn't quit on you. He died for you. He'll never abandon you. So don't abandon yourself anymore. Resolve to do that. I won't abandon myself anymore ever again. Okay. And lastly, it's a new year. This episode is a reminder to put your oxygen mask on first. If you don't put on the oxygen mask, you can't breathe. If you can't breathe, you can't function. If you can't function, you can't impact or transform or make a difference in anyone's life, not yourself or anyone else's. Okay? Put on your oxygen mask first. If you set some resolutions and you quit on them, no problem. Run this video back. Take down these notes. If you procrastinated on taking notes, run this video back. I'm getting in your face. Lovingly getting in your face. Run this video back and take those notes. And start incorporating, start applying the ones that you're not already doing. And jump into my community if you need that accountability, or find a community that resonates with you so that you can be held accountable to make your resolutions stick. All right. So one last quick reminder. This episode was brought to you by the Spring Forward Writers Retreat, happening Friday to Sunday, March 14th through 16th, 2025. And I'm pointing at you. Yes, you. If you've been writing, you wanted a book, you've been procrastinating on it, I see you haven't signed up yet. Why haven't you signed up yet? What's stopping you? What's stopping you? Sign up today. Go to springforwardretreat.com to sign up for this retreat. It will be life-changing. Literally. I'm not capping you on that, because a single book can change your life. And through publishing your book, your one book can change someone else's life. So when I tell you this retreat is going to be life-changing, that is what I mean. So let's get this work. Let's hashtag get on that. If that's your resolution and maybe you quit on it already, this is your chance to get back on that. Okay. Springforwardretreat.com for more information. Sign up. Let's get this goal done. But in the meantime and between time, have a great rest of your Wednesday and a great rest of your week. I love you. Peace.